Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Excalibur Roundtable Tech Talk. I am Mike Fuson. We're going to continue our extended Tech Talk series with our friends at HaloITSM and highlighting some of the many features that the Halo platform brings to the table. I'm joined by Tom Petley from HaloITSM. Tom, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Mike. Yeah, great to be here.
So it's always fun when we're able to get together. Tom and I spend a lot of time kind of chatting in between these little recordings about all the wonderful things that we see and wonderful things that we can do with Halo. And we love being able to share some of this with the audience out there. For this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about problem management. What I find with problem management from a process perspective, as we've talked about before in these videos, is that Halo is aligned with ITIL best practices as it relates to these process areas. But problem is one of those processes that I see is by far one of the simplest processes as far as number of pages dedicated to in a chapter of all of the ITIL books that you can go get. But it is actually one of the more powerful processes that are out there. Incident management is about restoring service. That could be bubblegum, baling wire, duct tape, super glue, whatever is needed to get that service back up and running. Problem management is about starting to analyze the root cause of what's causing the incidents to occur in the first place. If we've got people putting in incident records that they can't get to their email, and those are happening every week, week in, week out, we should be really looking at and trying to understand what's causing this to happen. We shouldn't be having people not able to get to email every week or every Tuesday at 4 o'clock or whatever it may be. And problem management is something that's funny. We had a conversation with a client the other day that said, hey, can we put SLAs on problem management? And I said, why would you put SLAs on problem management? The whole idea is a problem. The resolution for the problem might be a patch from a vendor, as an example. It's been determined that it's a bug within the technology. I mean, software's never 100% perfect. As much as try as we might, it's never going to be perfect 100% of the time. So that problem may be raised, and in order to get around this issue, we'll require a patch. Or we require Microsoft to update something in Office 365 or whatever it may be. So we're waiting for that to occur, and it may result in a change on our side to push a patch out as an example. But it's about doing that analysis and getting down to what is that root issue. It also gives us the ability to correlate a number of incidents together. And while you have major incidents, that may be a way to group incidents together. Problem is another way that incidents are grouped together. Now, one of the discussions we have with customers all the time is, can an incident related to a problem be resolved? Absolutely. Did you restore service and that was a workaround or what have you? That may have come from the problem record itself saying, hey, here's the workaround. If you change this for now, that'll get them around this particular issue or error that they're receiving. It's not the permanent fix, it's a temporary fix. It's the workaround to the problem. But that may restore service. So the incident could be resolved. However, we're grouping these incidents into our problem. Why? We want to understand how big this problem really is. Who all might this affect based on who's reported it to us? We're going to take a little bit of a look here in Halo, just around the problem management process as it sits. But Halo had some exciting news for us in a recent update, and Halo's constantly innovating, constantly updating their platform, where we now have the ability to essentially say, this affects me too, from our customer self-service portal, and kind of be joined in. And there's a couple of different ways that can be representative. Tom's going to share this. So Tom, I'm going to turn it over to you. Let's look at one of our favorite platforms, HaloITSM.
Fantastic. Thanks, Mike. Let me just share my screen now. So today we're going to talk about problem management, and I've just got a few kind of scenarios I want to just walk you through, and a couple of bits. So just a really nice kind of ways of displaying the problems to your users, and really just keeping that transparency there, and kind of managing your communications plans and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just raise a standalone problem again. But just be aware, you could raise this off the back of an incident. In this case, I'm going to raise a problem and then kind of link our instance back to it later. And just so I've got an example service of SAP, I'm going to use a SAP as an example. SAP, let's go for a SAP performance issues. This bot in the top right is another thing. I'm not sure if I'll go into it today or whether to keep it a bit more high level, but this is a really nice example of how Halo can suggest similar incidents in this case, but it might be a matching problem here. And that's where we start to pull our workaround into incident management. If we've got time, I might just kind of touch on that a bit later on. So I'm going to build this summary and just example details in here. I'm going to keep this, let's go high for these. And I'm going to categorize this as just SAP. And you'll see at the bottom here, we can relate assets and services if we want to as well. So I'm going to relate this to a SAP service and just submit this. So this is just going to drop our problem into Halo. And you'll see here we have, again, I don't know if anyone saw the change tech talk, where we have kind of out-of-the-box workflows here. This is just another example of our problem management having a nice kind of out-of-the-box workflow, which just takes you through the standard stages of our kind of ITIL aligned process. The thing I want to highlight here is because we link this problem to a monitored service, I have the option here, if I've got permission, if I've got the relevant role, to be able to update the status of this service. So I'm going to flag this as a fault, and I'm going to put a time here, just today's current time. I can put different notes on here as well, but I'm going to keep it blank and just pull the default from the system. So you'll see here now we're kind of flagging this as a fault. And because I'm a subscriber to this service, my end user on this portal, if I just reload this, my user here logged into the portal is a subscriber. So that means they want to be kind of informed about any issues with this service. And if I just load it up here, you'll see here that we've got the option of flagging up any services that are currently experiencing a problem. And you can choose how it displays. I've gone for the big warning at the top, but you can have it more subtle and kind of displaying lower down if you want to. But I think it's just really important that we're kind of transparent, and there's no point hiding things away. If there is an issue with SAP, they're only going to go and log an incident anyway. So it's best that we kind of keep that visibility up. If I click into this SAP service, you'll see here that we present a couple of options to our users. We have the option of simply logging an incident, which can then link back to that problem record automatically. Or we've got the option of just keeping me updated. And this is our kind of method that, yeah, Mike's just mentioned earlier. So it's a new feature for us. It's something that we kind of wanted to introduce as a simple way of allowing our users to just keep updated with any updates on there. It's all very well kind of raising an incident and kind of going through that process, but it's a little bit more long-winded. It's a little bit kind of more information for the users to fill in possibly. And we just wanted to give the users a really easy way of managing. Of course, you can still report on it. You can report on who's been impacted by this fault. But it's just another nice, simple way of doing that. And the user can just click this button, and that will just opt them into kind of email updates about the issue. This feature here, this email update, you'll see here we have a button here, email impacted users, I should say. And that gives us the option to email any people that have opted into updates for that particular fault. So anyone that's actually been impacted by that issue, we can simply just email from here. The other option, if you actually go to the service itself, so we actually go to this SAP service, we do have an option to email all subscribers. So we could email everybody that's subscribed, everyone that uses SAP, we could email it on go as well. This functionality can also be used in major instances as well. It's worth saying there's a bit of crossover there. So just moving through, I just want to kind of move through this workflow a little bit. So at the start of every problem is a kind of an investigation phase. And I'm just going to put some notes in here just to kind of identify the root cause of that particular problem. And then from here, I'm going to create a kind of a known error record. I'm actually going to create a workaround at this point as well. So in this same process, we'll create a workaround. And this is something that can be used by the service desk. It can be used by kind of other resolver groups to use as a workaround to resolve any future incidents that relate to this same problem. It's very well kind of doing problem management, but if you don't present the information really easily for people to use, you're not going to get the maximum value out of it. There's going to be kind of multiple people investigating a game, and you don't want that. You want them to really easily pull the information whenever they need to. So our kind of known error database utilizes the knowledge base as well. So it's kind of a subset of the knowledge base, and it all sits against this workaround tab once you actually do that workaround in here. And I should have shown you that last shot. You can put screenshots, you can put, maybe there's a Microsoft video on how to kind of work around an issue before they release a patch or something like that. You can embed the video in there, and you can actually even send this off to your users as well. So you can actually send this to users and present it on the portal as well. So there's loads and loads of different options available to you. Just going back to the process as well, if we do want to raise changes, we can do that from here. And yeah, and also if you're just happy that it doesn't need a change, maybe it's you've been able to resolve it without making a change, we can simply resolve the ticket and resolve the problem, sorry, and move it into the problem stage. Let's just put a resolution note in there. And as I always say, these workflows, these are out-of-the-box workflows. They're not hidden away though. They're all, we can configure them within the application. It's just a drag and drop builder. Today I'm just going to keep things quite high level, but I'm sure we'll do a future tech talk or webinar on how these workflows and how this problem process can be tailored towards customers' exact processes. I think I'll pass it back to you there, Mike. If you anything else?
Fantastic. Yeah, no, Tom, thank you. I mean, problem, as we talked about, is one of the simplest processes from an ITIL perspective, but one of the ones that can bring a lot of value to the organization. And to be able to tie this into, hey, the system's having a fault, and you can make the customers aware, and then they can decide how they want to interact with IT on that. Hey, I want to raise an incident and be tied into it, or I just want to be notified on updates of this particular issue, driving back to known errors and all the wonderful things. And we've done some of our other episodes where we've talked about the customer self-service portal. If I'm self-serving, I might be able to find this known error in a workaround and be able to self-serve, and I don't need to call anybody, but I've tied myself into saying, hey, when this patch is available, I'm going to need it too. Gives us good information as IT as to whom all we know was affected beyond, kind of our plan to distribute out a patch as an example. It's just one of the many things that you guys are doing at Halo that make the system intuitive and innovative and easy for customers and technicians alike to interact with the platform. It's always so exciting to be able to get together with you and share these things. We're going to ask everyone to please join us as we continue our extended Tech Talk series on the Halo ITSM platform, as well as our upcoming webinar. We'll be diving a bit deeper into some of these process areas. Thank you, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you again.